Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about the atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is actually of three types. Sorry, not atherosclerosis, it is arteriosclerosis. It is arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis means sclerosis is hardening of arteries. It is of three types. One, we have arteriolosclerosis. It is arteriolosclerosis where it involves the small arteries. So it is hyaline arteriolosclerosis or hyperplastic arteriolosclerosis, okay, which we have already dealt in hypertension. Then we have next type, which is Monkenberg sclerosis. Monkenberg sclerosis, which is seen in the walls of the muscular arteries in patients who are in people who are more than 50 years of age. Okay, here calcifications are present, but they do not compromise the vessel lumen. Vessel lumen is completely normal, and as a result they are not clinically significant. Then we have the final type, which is atherosclerosis, which is very important, and we are going to learn about this in this lecture. So first, here we are going to learn about atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis is seen in pathogenesis of many vascular diseases. Especially it is involved in coronary vascular disease, that is stroke, and involving stroke and transient ischemic attack, or it is involving cerebral vessels, which is involving stroke and transient ischemic attack, or it is involved in MI, which is involving coronary vessels, okay, or it is involved in peripheral vascular diseases, okay. So if you see, first and foremost, epidemiology is not that important. We will see the risk factors, okay. The risk factors of atherosclerosis are divided into two types. We have we have constitutional risk factors. Second, we have modifiable risk factors. Constitutional risk factors are those which cannot be modified. So these include one, genetics. Genetics is an important independent risk factor for atherosclerosis. In genetics, there is sometimes well established familial predisposition to atherosclerosis and ischemic heart disease is seen. Especially there is also familial predisposition is also seen to hypertension or diabetics, which will also result in atherosclerosis. Then age is actually a dominant feature in atherosclerosis. This is most commonly individuals between 40 to 60 years are more prone to atherosclerosis. Then gender. In the gender factors, mainly if you see, males are more prone to atherosclerosis than females in premenopausal age group. But if you see postmenopausally, that is after menopause, the atherosclerosis the risk of atherosclerosis in women increases after menopause, because in women, in younger women, atherosclerosis risk is less due to the estrogen, but in postmenopausal women, because of decreased estrogen, the atherosclerosis risk increases. But if you give estrogen therapy to the postmenopausal women, this will increase the cardiovascular risk. So gender is important risk factor. These cannot be modified, but what can be modified are important. So we will see the modifiable risk factors. So in the modifiable risk factors, first it is hyperlipidemia. In the hyperlipidemia, specifically hypercholesterolemia is major risk factor for atherosclerosis. Even other risk factors are absent. This hypercholesterolemia is the major risk factor of atherosclerosis, especially whenever there is increased risk of LDL. Cholesterol is associated with increased risk of LDL, and there is decreased HDL. Higher LDL and decreased HDL will predispose to atherosclerosis. Diet who take and if you see diets, if people take diets low in cholesterol and high in polyunsaturated fatty acids, diet low in plasma cholesterol, and if the people take diet which are high in omega 3 fatty acids, they are actually beneficial. And if the person exercises, this exercise and moderate consumption of alcohol will increase the HDL levels, whereas if you see obesity and smoking will decrease the HDL levels. And if you see use of statins, which are a group of drugs which will inhibit HMG-CoA reductase enzyme, they will actually reduce the lipid levels, and as a result this will also decrease the atherosclerosis risk. Then second modifiable risk factor is hypertension. Hypertension is other modifiable risk factor. In this chronic hypertension is actually most common cause of left ventricular hypertrophy. Then third modifiable risk factor is cigarette smoking. Prolonged smoking of one or more packs of cigarette per day doubles the death rate with ischemic heart disease. Then if you see fourth, it is diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus will increase the cholesterol levels and thus increases the atherosclerosis. Then we have the additional risk factors. In the additional risk factors, these additional risk factors include one, inflammation. Presence of inflammation is present in all the stages of atherosclerosis, and it is directly related to atherosclerotic plaque formation, and this inflammation also plays an important role in ischemic heart disease. There are many factors which are important in measuring this inflammation, but one of them is C-reactive protein, which is the simplest and the most sensitive method which is helpful in measuring the inflammation. This CRP is an acute phase reactant which is synthesized from the liver. Its expression is increased particularly when there is increased interleukin 6 will increase the levels of CRP. Increased interleukin 6 will increase the levels of CRP, and it also augments, and this CRP will also increase whenever there is bacterial infections by activating the complement system, especially the classical complement system. This CRP is a strong and independent risk factor marker for risk of myocardial infarction, stroke, peripheral arterial disease. This CRP is a strong independent marker of risk for myocardial infarction, stroke, peripheral arterial disease and sudden cardiac death. One more important thing is this CRP is also useful marker for measuring the risk reduction measures. That means, for example, if the person stops smoking, or if the person has started his exercise or put him on statins, in order to measure the reduction measure these response, we can do the C-reactive protein levels. When the C-reactive protein levels reduces, obviously these are effective. Then the next modifiable risk factor is hyperhomocystinemia. This homocysteine levels, serum homocysteine levels are very important in coronary atherosclerosis and peripheral vascular disease. Especially increased homocysteine levels more than 100 micromole per liter is associated with premature vascular disease. Whenever there is in some cases, whenever there is low folate levels and low vitamin B12 levels, these will increase the homocysteine levels. But still, supplementing vitamin ingestion will not affect the cardiovascular disease. So even if you supplement this folate or vitamin B12, this does not have any effect on cardiovascular disease. Next, if you see, the next important modifiable risk factor is lipoprotein A. Lipoprotein A, it is an altered form of LDL, and this lipoprotein A contains actually apolipoprotein B100, which is a portion of LDL linked to apolipoprotein A. So these lipoprotein A levels are associated with coronary and cerebral disease risks. Okay, and then there are some other factors which are affecting the homeostasis, like we have many fibrinolytic function factors which are affecting the homeostasis and fibrinolytic function, which predispose to atherosclerosis. Then if you see, the other factors include lack of exercise, stressful lifestyle, or obesity. All these are associated with the atherosclerosis. Thank you for watching.